Proactive classroom management tips from Professor Michele Bowes, California State University, Northridge. The first tip is to organize student materials.
Hi, and welcome to another segment of Hepburn's Helpful Hints. This segment is about organizing the materials that your students use when they're working at their seats. In my classroom, I've got them grouped by colors very clearly. And I'll start with the purple table. This is the purple table. They know that when it comes time for them to get their crayons and pencils, they come right over here. It's clearly labeled. The crayon helper for the day takes it with two hands, and you'll notice that all of the cups are purple. It's labeled purple on the outside, and there's a place where the purple crayons live. The times that the purple group will be using scissors and glue, we also have this to minimize walking around. There's the scissors and the glue sticks, and we have trained them to put the trash in the trash. Makes for easy cleanup and not a lot of roaming around during work time, even if there are scissors and glue involved. Once again, it has a place to live that we train the students on when they're finished so they can clean up after themselves. Now let's pretend that the students are finished with their worksheets or whatever it was they were working on. Cubby placement is very important. Our cubbies are over here on the end of the room, and we intentionally put extra space in front of it. This is to make it so if it does get crowded over here, there's not pushing or shoving. There's plenty of room for children to get in and out and not hurt each other. So be very aware of the placement of your cubbies. Another thing with the cubbies is with the children's names. The children's names are on permanent marker on masking tape near the edge. The children are trained from the beginning of the year. Now, the first 3 weeks, whenever I'm asked them to put something up, I'm standing here. Oh, look at the way Aaron pushed his paper all the way in so we can still see his name. Great job, Aaron. The first few weeks, if you train them to push their paper all the way back, it will be easy for them to see their name and easy for you to see their name when it comes time to put their work in their Friday folders or whatever system you have for looking at your students' work. So, in summary, be deliberate with the way that your students get their materials and put them up, and even where they put their completed work. You can establish routines that will make your life easy when it comes to full group instruction.
The next strategy is greeting students at the door.
Hello, Dr. Bailey, long-time see, Miss Kayla. I use a technique called Thumbs at the Door to greet my students in a way that is personal, quick, and efficient. I do it at the door because it helps build that relationship with each student individually without having to go from desk to desk to desk. It's T for touch. Since touch is not comfortable for everybody, I give them the option of either a high five, a handshake, a hug, or a fist bump. U is for use their name. They know that I know who they are. And they're not just some random kid out of my long list of students. When you make eye contact with them, you show that you truly care about what they're saying or that they're there. And S is for smile, because smiling is a good way to start your day. It sets you up for a positive lesson. Thumbs at the door is the way for me to build relationships with my students and a way for them to be welcomed into my classroom every day.
The next tip is to optimize classroom seating.
The seating arrangement in this classroom is very different. You have a wide variety of seating. You can sit on the yoga balls. At the desks, you can sit on the futon, or you can sit on the ground with rockers, or you can sit on the discs. No other class is like it. And it's fun to sit on different things every day.
In our classroom, we use flexible seating. We have different choices of seating. We have stools, we have a futon, we have yoga balls, bungee chairs, and then we also have regular desks. The students love it. We started on the very first day of school. We came in, we all sat on the carpet to start, and we talked about why our classroom is different, the different seating choices we have. And before we got started, we signed seating contracts stating that we know how to use the seats. We can use them appropriately, and we are choosing the seats that work best for us and help empower our learning.
The next tip is to consistently enforce behavior expectations.
Really, the only way to establish consistency in your classroom is to be consistent in the way that you are enforcing your expectations with your students or reinforcing your expectations with students. But that's easier said than done. So one thing you can do is to really practice being consistent in one particular area of your teaching. And then that practice will not only help you be consistent in that area, but will spread to your general ability to be consistent. For example, a good place to start is with students raising their hands to speak. That's a good place to start because we all do it. We all ask students to raise their hands to speak. Some of us do it a lot more routinely than others, but we all do it sometimes. So there are so many opportunities to potentially practice being consistent around that. Just a note though, being consistent around having students raise their hands to speak is not about getting them to raise their hands every time they speak. It's only about getting it when we ask for it. Sometimes we don't want them to raise their hands. Sometimes I might say to a class, "Are we ready then?" And I'm expecting a general response from kind of everybody in the class at one time. But if I say, "Raise your hand and let me know if you know an answer to question number 6, then I expect a raised hand. And if a student blurts out, or a student raises their hand and then blurts out, if I honor that blurted out response, I'm not consistently reinforcing my hand raising rule. Once kids understand that you will honor a blurted out response, even when you've asked for a raised hand, that's all you're going to get. And the noise level is off the charts and your consistency is deteriorating. So when you ask for it, make sure you get it. If you asked for the raised hand, the student blurts out an answer. Thank you, Sally, for going halfway with that procedure. I do actually need you to wait until I call on you, though. If you would please raise your hand, wait until I call on you. I'll call on you. We can talk about what you said. Reinforcing the procedure or honoring the procedure before or above we honor this response, even if it was a correct response or an interesting response or came from a student who doesn't normally participate. We still need to establish a routine of consistency in our classroom. And practicing around one area like hand raising will help us build that and spread that consistency to all areas of our teaching.
The next tip is to establish and maintain positive relationships with students.
Developing good, strong relationships with your students can make a huge difference in behavior management for your entire school year. Today's teaching tip video, I'm going to talk about something that I do every week to help build those relationships and to get the students on your team. And I'm starting right now. What I'm referring to is what I call lunch bunch. This is no new idea, but here's how I do it, and I find it to be pretty effective. What I'll do is I will let the kids know that the next week, on a Friday, I'll let the kids know that next week, each day of the week, I'm going to have lunch with one team, one table group. Each day will have lunch in the classroom. I'll say Monday's green team, Tuesday yellow team, so on and so forth. So they know when it's coming. It's a time to share with your students, have them share with you. It's time to laugh. It's a time to kick back a little bit and have some unstructured fun time with your students. Now, the key is you want to keep it to a small group, because if you bring the whole class into it, and I do have whole class lunch bunch from time to time, but then you have to manage you have to narrate, you have to manage the entire class. And the key to Lunch Bunch is you really don't want to have to manage. You and your kids want to hang out in a non-traditional sense, and you want to get to know them a little bit better. And it's easier when you're not having to do your regular teaching strategies, when you can just hang out. This will help build that confidence and build that relationship. And you can always refer back to those times. You're creating memories with your students. Students are more likely to behave for a teacher that they like versus one that they don't have any connection to. You don't want to be this faceless authoritarian figure. You want to gain that trust for your students. And this is a great way to show them that you care. And it's important that I tell the entire class that they will all get their turn. That way they don't feel like anybody's getting left out. If you like this video and you want to see more, just like it.
Give clear instructions to your students.
I'm going to set you on a move and a job. So this is a two-step direction. Step number one. Oh, this just became a three-step direction. Because step number one, please stop markering. I'm going to write this down for you, so don't worry about having it on your marker board now. Step number one, clip your marker cap on. Step number two, safely with your materials back to your desk. Oh, and nobody move until I say secret school. At your desk, boys and girls, I want you to get 3 evidence sticky notes ready. Just take out 3 sticky notes, put a 1 on top, a 2 on top, or a 3 on top. Secret school. While you're doing that, I'll write down that idea. I'm going to be turning around to see which one of my boys and girls I can highlight as a good example in about 10 seconds. About 7 seconds. About 4 seconds. 2, 1. I spy great examples from Haley because she has her materials at her desk and she has 3 sticky notes on which she has a number 1, a number 2, or a number 3.
Give behavior specific praise.
All right, Bailey, come to the board and point out the spelling words that you noticed in that poem. What is that word? Beautiful, from, and corn. Let's say those words with Bailey. All right. Who can look? Good job, Bailey. Let's give Bailey a big hand for doing such a good job. All right. Who can look at these words and tell me the one that names a flower? I like the way people are raising their hand. Gabriel.
Actively supervise your students.
Next, we're going to be talking about proximity. Proximity is one of the best, easiest, and most effective ways that you can control a classroom. It's no holds barred, probably the number one thing. If I could give a new teacher an advice, it would be to use your body to move purposefully around the classroom to maintain behavior. You can use proximity proactively, meaning that if I'm teaching and I notice students are working, I can just, as I'm talking and I don't need to stop my instruction, I can come over and just keep an eye on anyone at the table. I can also use proximity to make sure I'm reaching all of the students at once. Is your room designed and set up that you can mingle and walk around while students are working on activities? It's a great way to give feedback to students that need help. It's a great way to reinforce students that are doing the right things. And it's a fabulous way to zero in on a student that might be ready to act up. So if I'm talking and I'm instructing about watercolor and I see somebody that is starting to get out of line, I can keep talking. I usually signal with my finger and make eye contact with that student and say, eyes on me. And it's kind of like a warning number one. Then I will keep instructing. And if he or she continues to act out, I'll walk over and I'll keep instructing the students, talking about my watercolors, but I will tap the desk just to let them know that I am aware that they're trying to be naughty. This alone makes that student feel like I'm in their personal bubble. And they, 9 times out of 10, don't want me there. So they will get back in line and hopefully get back on track with their behavior, and I can keep talking. So proximity, number 1 rule. Proactive or reactive, it works magic. Make sure that you mingle, that you instruct, you walk around. I was teaching for many years before I had somebody point out the fact that I always talk to the right. Well, I'm right dominant, right? So I kept coming and talking to these children over here quite a bit. It wasn't until I was videotaped and it was pointed out to me that I knew that I needed to move on this side of the classroom as well. So proximity is fabulous.
Our last tip of the day is to actively engage your students by incorporating movement.
Studies have shown that students can retain more information and may have deeper engagement and motivation when movement is integrated into learning. It helps boost students' interest levels, which supports greater sustained attention to lessons. This allows them to learn more effectively and commit concepts to long-term memory. It contributes to their daily physical activity, and it's fun. Information recall helps students learn to think like mathematicians. Try having kids skip count or list multiples while doing a warm-up activity like jumping jacks or push-ups. Or ask students to see how many baskets they can sink from 10 feet away versus 5 feet and then compare the results. One study found that when basketball was integrated with math instead of just played after a lesson, students scored better on tests and remembered more. In science, you can have students act out any number of phenomena to help visualize and understand complex concepts. For a lesson on states of matter, ask students to act out solids, liquids, or gases. Or try having students learn about the solar system by dancing out the movements of the planets. You'll be surprised at how students continue to utilize the movements and reference the activity when they think of the concepts much later. Working things out is also great for social studies. It can help students retain key concepts, names of important figures, or significant moments in history. Skits can also help students grasp the basic narrative elements of drama and role plays. Or to help students better understand causes and effects of historical events, have them organize themselves into lines, rows, or groupings to make sense of what happened. English language arts, students can use their body to represent key ideas, as well as to demonstrate their understanding of those ideas. When reading, students can act out vocabulary words or characters' emotions like jealousy, fear, love. During story time, ask younger students to stomp their feet, representing a period every time you reach the end of a sentence. And adding movement can reinforce key early literacy skills. Try having students use whole body movements while learning letter sound pairings. It just might improve their ability to recognize individual letter sounds. Infusing classrooms with physical activity isn't just good for kids' bodies, it's also a powerful tool for content proficiency and retention.